Hello and welcome to Empire of Wargames and the second episode of the current state of GW and Warhammer episode 2. My name is ePlash and today we are going to talk about Age of Sigmar in specific when it comes to the current state of Warhammer and GW, since last time we talked about Warhammer 40k, and let me spoil you, this episode is not going to be quite as positive as the last one. Alright, if you enjoy the content, consider leaving a thumbs up and subscribing, as well as checking the links down in the description below. So yeah, last episode we talked about Warhammer 40k and it was very positive because GW really changed their schedule when it comes to non-Space Marine stuff. We have a lot of Eldari, we have Orcs, we got Necrons at the beginning of the edition and so on. And generally speaking, I really hope that this year is going to deliver as the year of chaos. And I hope this also applies to Age of Sigmar, to be completely honest. This is the current state of Warhammer 40k, it's rather positive. The last video was very positive and I think GW deserved it when it comes to the pure releases of Xenos and Chaos factions, or at least what is planned for Chaos or rumored. Now when it comes to Age of Sigmar has been a little bit more problematic as a whole ever since the edition started, because this edition of Age of Sigmar, the third one, was supposed to be a mirror match to the 9th edition of Warhammer 40k. They both started with a huge box. 40k got the Indomitus box, Age of Sigmar got the Dominion box. And while 40k got their Necron and Space Marine codexes really close to the release of Indomitus, Age of Sigmar didn't. They had to wait for quite a long time. And the same applies for their first true codex, or even if it's just supplements. The Nurgle, Maggotkin of Nurgle Battle Tome released in December, which is very late. And during December, we already had 3 Space Marine supplements released. We had the Space Wolves, we had Blood Angels, and we had the Death Watch, and those feel significant because they all came along with their own combat patrol box, with their own little unit. I think Death Watch didn't get one, but Space Wolves got the Hounds of Mordkai, and Blood Angels got their Intercessor Death Company, which aren't great kits, admittedly, but they are there. And yeah, just Age of Sigmar really slow in comparison. And then in January we got Death Guard, and then we got Drukhari, and we got Dark Angels, and just the releases up until March of that year of 2021 were just way more significant, way better paced than what we have right now for Age of Sigmar. And that is concerning because Age of Sigmar has a similar system to Crusade from 40k, which is called Path to Glory, and having a new battle tome for that is just really significant. It makes the whole experience more fun. It offers a lot more options for your army. And in general, some armies now, Idoneth Deepkin and Fireslayers are getting a new battle tome, but Idoneth Deepkin before that had a first edition book still. And that is just weird. That is just really weird, because even though they didn't quite need the help because their first edition battle tome was quite well written, getting an update is kind of cool, especially for a popular faction, which the Idoneth Deepkin in my mind are. So yeah, in general, we got a timeline for battle tomes that is looking to be really slow as well. We are getting basically 2 battle tomes per quarter, which is not that great. And I really hope they're going to speed up a little bit, at least towards the end of the year. As you can see, we are getting Daughters of Cain, and a lot more. We are getting a lot of 2-player battle boxes, and I wanted to talk about that in specific. We got Fury from the Deep, which was a 2-player battle box, and we are getting another battle box called Arena of Shades with Nighthound and Daughters of Cain. And you might be wondering, why are they releasing 2 of those 2-player battle boxes so close to each other? Now, while those products are cool and they are, interesting, I think that these are just timed exclusives that they can just put out there, throw anything in there they want. Admittedly, the Nighthound half of the box is really cool, but they are just throwing stuff in there, and it basically allows them to have more time to ramp up production for Vanguard boxes, which are actually the cool thing about this new edition and about releasing new factions, because those Vanguard boxes are going to be the main box that is going to introduce new players to a faction. And we only have one of those after over 6 months. We got only the Maggotkin of Nurgle Vanguard box, and that is it. and that's not good. So yeah, those 2-player battle boxes are there to release, have a fixed number of units that they are going to produce, call it a day, make it disappear, and then they, allow themselves to have more time to, I don't know, design or figure out how they are going to produce the Vanguard boxes, because, even though GW has been handling all the different releases and products very well, they have their constraints in their factory and so on, and everything needs to be planned out accordingly. So yeah, but in general, Age of Sigmar is very, very slow as it stands. So yeah, what have we talked about? For now, we have talked about that the Battletome releases are very slow compared to Warhammer 40k. Admittedly, for Warhammer 40k, a lot of the first books were supplements, but those supplements were significant because they came along with an additional new kit and with a Combat Patrol box. Meanwhile, Age of Sigmar only has one Combat Patrol box equivalent, a Vanguard box for the Maggotkin of Nurgle, and their releases for Battletomes are way, way slower. Furthermore, they are trying to bridge a lot of Vanguard box releases via timed exclusive 2-player boxes like Arena of Shades or Fury from the Deep, so they can just release the Battletome during the week like they are doing right now with Fireslayers and Idoneth Deepkin, to call it a day for now and to figure everything out a little bit later. All of that is very concerning because, as I said, Battletomes are very significant, especially, believe it or not, for the casual crowd that loves playing campaigns, and that includes me. I love playing those campaigns. I love playing Crusade. I enjoy my competitive games from time to time, but what I really enjoy is building narrative lists and having some fun just playing weird, wanky lists with units that I would never use in competitive ever. And that's the fun of Warhammer for me. So yeah, generally speaking, I'm not very, very thrilled with how a 3rd edition is shaping up, but the rules are cool. So let's talk about them next. So yeah, generally speaking, 3rd edition has been shaping up to be great, at least when it comes to the rules, not so much when it comes to the releases. I have played a lot of 3rd edition. I have not played any 2nd edition or 1st edition. Maybe I've played one 2nd edition game, but that is not really significant. So my opinion is going to be very, very flat and not very informative. But as it stands, my opinion on 3rd edition is that it is really, really fun. And the only thing I would change is the alternate, you roll off basically for turns. And that is something that bothers me a lot, because if someone has 2 turns in a row and you didn't plan accordingly for that, you are going to pay significantly. A lot of people are putting it off, and I'm sure that a lot of people who have been playing a lot of Age of Sigmar have a way better understanding of how to counter those 2 turns in a row whenever your opponent gets those, and how to figure out how to use all of your points and stuff accordingly to move away, to give yourself defensive buffs. But I haven't quite grasped that yet, and I think it's a little bit demotivating. That's the only rule I would really change. I like the new kind of battalions or the new structure of how you build your army and the benefits it gives. It is way more straightforward. Not every army has their own kind of army setups like they did in 2nd edition. And all in all, the game just plays like a simple and straightforward Warhammer 40k. I know people don't like the comparison, but all in all, it's just a fun game that you can actually recommend to a new player without them feeling completely overwhelmed by millions of stratagems and so on. Age of Sigmar has really a cool, straightforward system that I really enjoy playing. And yeah, that's all I have to say about it for now. I will try to read up a little bit on the 2nd and 1st edition rules so I can make maybe a proper video talking about the comparisons and, just learn about the history of Age of Sigmar, as it were. And last but not least, there's the competitive scene, which I haven't been keeping up too much, to be completely honest, because the Warhammer 40k competitive scene is very, very crazy, and keeping up with that is already very difficult. But what I've heard is that a lot of lists are just busted as it stands, just like a lot of dragons for Stormcast Eternals. They nerfed the dragons before they even released. They released in December, I think. And they nerfed them again, I think. And yeah, the lists in Age of Sigmar are way more explosive, I think. If something in Age of Sigmar is overpowered, it's really overpowered and it's really, really strong. And we are talking about win rates of upwards of 70%, which is kind of funny that I'm saying that because we have the exact same thing happening with Custodes and Tau right now. But yeah, in Age of Sigmar, and if memory serves me right, it has always been that kind of thing. Either it is more or less a little bit more balanced and new factions are up there at 50-60%, or there is a faction like the Dragons. Imagine them pre-nerf if they released together with all the Stormcast Eternal stuff. It would have been nuts. So yeah, Age of Sigmar competitive, definitely interesting. I'm going to try to read up more on it. I'm going to try to learn about it. And yeah, I want to make more content about it. I want to talk about units. I want to talk about battle tomes. I want to give proper information when it comes to Vanguard analysis videos, because I want to do those. Combat Patrol analysis videos are what motivated me to start the channel, and I definitely want to do that for Vanguard boxes as well. So if you have any tips on websites on where to read up on competitive Age of Sigmar, how to learn more about the specific intricacies of Age of Sigmar, or if you have general tips or, you know, just links to videos maybe where I can learn more about the intricacies of Age of Sigmar 3rd edition, let me know in the comments below. Other than that, I would be very interested to hear what you think about the current release schedule of Age of Sigmar 3rd edition. Are you bothered by how slow it is going? What do you think about the current release roadmap? Is it too slow? I've read a lot of in a lot of my other comments that the release schedule and the roadmap are very, very slow, and it is a little bit demotivating. And what do you think about all those 2-player battle boxes instead of getting proper Vanguard boxes alongside battle tome releases? There are a lot of questions, there are a lot of discussions to be had, so feel free to drop them in the comments. I would love to answer them whenever I find the time. And yeah, thank you so much for listening, and stay tuned for episode 3 and subscribe if you want to see it. All right, thank you so much for listening. I see you in the next one. Bye bye.